Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And my co-host reveals some very problematic political leanings.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington, do you really want to make me angry at the top of the episode again?
I mean, hey, we don't need to delve into it. You know, that's for our patron. Hey, if you want to hear Shaun's problematic political leanings, check out our Patreon where we have pre-banters every single week, a little extra content.
I was set up to fail.
Pardon? I don't know about that. What are we doing this week, Shaun?
Oh, Remington. You know how sometimes, podcasts will do, whole months dedicated to a specific theme?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, we've done it a handful of times. Do you think it's common for podcasts to do it accidentally?
You know, I would say only when the podcasters are not necessarily the most competent in the world, perhaps.
In that case, this was entirely planned.
Oh, okay, perfect.
You know? I thought to myself, you know what, this we should keep things kind of thematically appropriate, you know? You gotta make sure it's like a narrative flow, as it were, you know? Because some people like that in their podcasts.
So what theme are we doing? Are we stumbling into?
Well, Rem, we're doing another anime that heavily features a aspect of Japanese culture.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Tell me, Remington, how do you feel about, what's the easiest way to describe it? Not cryptids, not ghosts, but legends, right?
Yeah, legends, folklore.
Yeah. So but modern legends, like a Bloody Mary, for example.
Perhaps you can say almost like an urban legend.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. I was like, there's a word that's associated with it, but God, who the fuck knows what that word is?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, urban legends, Rem. Urban legends. Do you know many urban legends, Rem?
Every single one.
Every single one.
Yep.
So you're fully prepared for today's episode, then?
Yeah, I'll be able to identify absolutely everything.
100%.
That's why you have me, Shaun, because I'm a goddamn professional.
And if anything, you are a legend.
Oh, why, thank you.
Well, hey, there you go. Well, today's anime is specifically about one of those legends come to life and the interactions with this specific legend. Tell me, Rem, have you ever heard of Hanako-san?
I mean, obviously I have, but on the chance that our listeners haven't, you may want to explain it.
Or otherwise known as Toilet-Bound Hanako Kun.
Maybe. One sec. Big brain.
Okay.
Because I think it came up in the yokai village anime we covered 2 weeks ago.
It's very possible.
That's the bathroom fucker.
Okay, hold on.
That was giving love advice in the yokai anime 2 weeks ago. Spooky bathroom girl. Spooky girl in the bathroom stall. Is that it? Or is that a different one that starts with H?
No, that is pretty close to it, actually, yeah.
Hey, spooky bathroom girl. See, I told you. I just know it.
You just know it. So what do you know about Hanako, specifically? What's she about?
I mean, I think I summarized it quite well, Shaun.
Oh, yeah?
What about spooky bathroom girl? It needs clarification.
I mean, a lot of things, I feel like. The spooky bathroom girl could mean so many different things. What are spooky bathroom girls', aspirations in life, you know?
Are you trying to hit on the spooky bathroom girl, Shaun?
Absolutely not, because most of the time they are a child.
Good, you passed the test.
I see, you were testing me. I understand.
Hey, in this day and age, you gotta occasionally test your co-hosts and make sure that they aren't secretly a freak, all right? How many media organizations have gotten torn down because somebody ends up being a creepy piece of shit and everybody working with them is like, how did we not know for the 8 years we worked together? And so you gotta test it.
You gotta be careful. But
Yeah.
hey, look on the bright side, Rem. We're not Minecraft streamers, so
Ain't that the truth?
it's not as big of a concern. We are just oh god, we're just two podcasters.
Two white podcasters, two white male podcasters, goofing off in an irreverent style. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Nope.
Anyway, back to the anime. Another topic that, is not contentious in any way, either in the anime community or further beyond with anime fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Toilet-Bound Hanako, right? It's your classic school urban legend.
Is that, wait, you said it in such a deliberate way. Is Toilet-Bound Hanako the title of the anime?
Well, not the full title.
God damn. All right.
I mean, like if you were to directly translate it, that's what it would be. Like, I believe the original Japanese translation of the legend is Toyure no Hanako-san, which is, the Hanako of the toilet.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Is this just a story about a ghost in the toilet? And that's the whole, and they're just like, here I am.
In a lot of ways, kind of, yeah. Like, the urban legend, has different variations depending on where you go and where you hear it from. It's like the closest to an American equivalent or a Western equivalent would be Bloody Mary.
And so how do we make a show about that?
Well, that's the question. The first thing you do to make a show about it is to switch things up a little bit. Because the title of the show that we're going to be talking about is Jibaku Shounen Hanako Kun.
Okay.
And the show itself directly translates to Toilet-Bound Hanako Kun.
Okay, see, I was so off. There's a kun at the end of it, you see.
Yes. Hey, Rem, what do you remember from Japanese honorifics? What's the difference between san and kun?
Well, it's a very important culture.
Oh, yeah. As are most honorifics.
Is kun more friendly or affectionate, perhaps?
Oh, it can be. It definitely can be.
Is it love?
No.
No, that's silly.
Yeah. No. Just for frame of reference, Rem, for a lot of honorifics, for honorifics of people on if we're talking hierarchically speaking, on the same level or below you, a lot of the honorifics can have a gender appeal to them.
Oh, okay, sure.
And kun is very regularly considered the more masculine version of that. And it's a honorific that is usually used when you're about equal or talking to someone who's younger or in a lesser position. Whereas san is the more gender-neutral version of that, right?
Are we getting a trans ghost? Or, alternatively, a Mulan ghost?
Oh, boy.
Or, I suppose, the ghost could just be a dude.
The ghost is just a dude.
Okay.
Yep. It's not quite as allegorical as you would be.
There need to be more trans ghosts, is all I'm saying.
Hey, in storytelling, I agree. In general, probably not.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a little problematic.
Yeah, I need to...
You should probably clarify.
Oh no. It's a statement of support. It's not hate speech. It's a statement for desire for variety and diversity and representation. No.
Just don't take it out of context, please. Don't cancel us over that. We love our trans audience.
All right, now that we've sufficiently fucked this episode up, so what's it about, Shaun?
Okay. Toilet-Bound Hanako Kun is a story about just that, the urban legend of Hanako of the toilet. And a lot of times, the legend goes, you go to the bathroom, you summon Hanako, and if they appear, they may grant you a wish of some kind.
Okay.
Like proper genie rules. And generally speaking, let's be real, every kid at some point has heard of an urban legend and gotten dared to do it to try and see if it would actually work and happen. Or have been curious enough to try it on your own, You,
Shaun, you seem like...
okay. Let's see where this goes. All right. Okay, I'm prepared. I've tightened up my belt. I've buttoned my top button. Let's see where we go with this. All right, Rem. What about me?
With all the love and respect in the world.
Okay. Starting off with praise and affirmations. That's pretty good. surely something nice and positive will follow.
You seem like the fella who, like the kind of fella who in second grade, at like a friendly sleepover party, would have called your mom to pick you up once they start doing like Bloody Mary bullshit and when shit gets a little too spooky for you.
How dare you, sir? Surprisingly, no, actually. Like, genuinely, I don't blame you for saying that. But no, that wasn't the case. Primarily because that kind of thing never really happened at my little friendly sleepovers. My friendly sleepovers were usually filled with lots of Halo and occasionally getting sick through, like, horrible reasons.
Hell yeah.
But none of that. Though the closest thing that really freaked me out was like the light as a feather, stiff as a board thing. I don't know if that's still a thing, honestly.
What the fuck is that?
Okay. How do I explain it? It was a weird, like, pseudo spooky party thing that they would do, where the idea was for every, now that I'm trying to explain it, it does sound really stupid. But it freaked me out nonetheless because I think I just didn't want to be dropped. Generally speaking, it was like a trust exercise, spooky test of faith thing where everybody would gather around, chant light as a feather, stiff as a board while trying to lift up one of the willing party goers. And like it'd be surprisingly easy because I mean obviously everybody's doing it at the same time. But it was spooky because we didn't have to use all our force to do it, you know? I look, the mid 2000s were a strange time. The summer camp was interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. At summer camp, I didn't get to be involved with like the horny teenager things. I just got to be involved with like the weird, like pseudo Mormon like party game things. Like that's where I got placed. But we're not here to talk about me, Rem. We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about the anime. And look, Rem, you sound confused, but I'm sure there's going to be at least one or two other people out there who know what the fuck I'm talking about. And that being said, this anime is about that legend. And of course, people keep going into the bathroom to try and some of it, but it never fucking works, obviously.
Sure.
Except for one day when our main character, Nene Yashiro, goes to the bathroom to try herself because she wants some romantic advice, you know?
Of course.
She's young, she likes a person, she wants to be closer, and it's like, hey, maybe this is a good last-ditch effort to try and get things going. But the summoning actually works, and they find out, shock, gasp, Hanako-san is actually Hanako Kun, and is actually a boy. That's the premise to start with.
Does she just fall in love with Hanako?
Not exactly.
She shows up looking for love. Oh, surprise, this is a candidate.
I didn't know love could be found in the toilet.
It's the old genie method of like, I wish for true love. And then the genie just looks at you and he's like, right here, baby. And you're like, nice fucking try. Grant my wish. And he's like, shit.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on the genie, really, right? Like,
I've only ever had very sleazy genies that tried to hit on me.
Yeah, and that's just the unfortunate nature sometimes, you know? But hey, you know, I'm sure there's a genie out there for everybody. But after this meeting and shenanigans ensue, now kind of an unexpected twist, essentially, because of this direct interaction with the supernatural world, she is now more connected with things in the supernatural in general, and teaming up with Hanako-kun to help maintain the balance between the world of the living and the world of spirits and the dead.
What the fuck? Wait.
Yeah, hey, you know? Like, because apparently Hanako-kun, that's kind of what he does on the day-to-day when he's not popping out of toilets.
He's keeping the balance?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, and she becomes his assistant, you know? Look, man, the balance between apparitions and mortals is delicate. You know, you gotta work to keep that in line.
So why is Ghostly Toilet Boy and Lovesick Girl, why are they the guardians?
Well, I mean, Hanako was already the guardian.
Why? Why is a toilet child a guardian between worlds?
Well, who would you rather have as a guardian between worlds?
Almost anybody else.
Anybody other than the child that hangs out in a toilet.
Yeah. Toilet child, very low on my list for like, yeah, I think we can trust them for a very important job. Like, oh, Jesus. Like, if you're like, all right, you got the nuclear codes. Who do you want to make sure, who do you want to give them to make sure nobody gets them? I'm not going to be like, oh, a couple of good options. But toilet child, like, that's not how that's going to go down.
Well, hey, what if Toilet Child is very competent? You don't know. You haven't met him.
I feel like I know everything I need to.
That he's a child that pops out of the toilet and occasionally grants wishes?
Yeah.
Hey, bad.
Can he just grant the wish for it to be forever balanced and good?
Well, funny you mentioned genies. But, Remington, believe it or not, this is a highly requested show for us.
Okay, that's surprising. This feels niche as all hell.
No, it's been heavily requested since it came out in 2020.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people think that you're going to enjoy it because it's got a fairly colorful art style. It's kind of weird and unique in some ways. And, it's got a premise that you wouldn't normally expect.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and plus, you like spooky things like urban legends, so why wouldn't you want?
I do like spooky things.
Yeah, so maybe maybe the show about the toilet child keeping the balance between the living and the dead is just right up your alley.
Well, let's see.
So I think without further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's go watch some Jibaku Shonen Hanako Kun or Toilet-Bound Hanako Kun. And we are back after watching 5 whole episodes of the 2020 anime Toilet-Bound Hanako Kun. And Remington, did you get all the spooky vibes you were hoping for, or were you, well, just as confused as you were when we went into it?
Hey, why not a little bit of both? Right. So when watching, I think most people will immediately be struck. Very unique art style.
Oh yeah, very, very unique. Thick lines, very comic booky.
Yeah, it feels very visual novel or RPG. Like extremely so. To the point where I was like, he would have told me, I think, if it was a video game adaptation, so I don't think it is. But also, both in visuals and in plot structure, it really feels that way.
Yeah, nope, it's a manga adaptation.
That's kind of wild, honestly.
Yeah.
This could easily be some RPG Maker bullshit.
It does strongly have like RPG Maker horror vibes to it, right?
Especially when combining everything else it has for it. So yeah, we have first of all, apparently it's high school, but
they are very
the characters look 8 years old.
Yeah, they are very chibi-esque.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of 8-year-old high schoolers. Which,
hey, they're
and
advanced
it's not
for
like
their
they're
age.
acting. They're not acting like high schoolers either. Like, at least make it like a middle school, junior high type deal. Then I can almost justify it in my head. Making it high school when they neither look nor behave that way, very weird, very strange. But yeah, we have our main character Yashiro. Yashiro? I don't know where to put the emphasis. I rarely do.
You can just call her Nene.
Good old Nene. She's wishing for love, and Hanako shows up, and he's like, all right, well, let's see, according to this book on love advice, here's how to make a guy fall for you. And she's like, that's not what I wanted. I was kind of, hoping for an Aladdin genie, bada bing, bada boom, make me royalty. She falls in love.
But if she had watched Aladdin, she would know that genies can't do that. So really, it was flawed from the beginning.
But maybe toilet genies can. I don't know their rules. I don't know their rules. All
okay,
right?
Hey, he's not a toilet genie. He's a toilet ghost. It's different.
As it turns out, Hanako is new at this. Very new at this. He's a goddamn rookie. So we're gonna establish this, right? He's an amateur. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's not that powerful right here. Mm-hmm. Put a pin in that.
I wonder where this is going.
Don't worry. Hey, lovely listeners, don't worry about it. I'm sure it'll never come up again. Just pin it to the wall real quick that he is a beginner who doesn't know what he's doing. And so they work on making her more feminine so that she's more desirable. They do that via gardening, which is just like a passion she ends up enjoying and continues throughout the series. So, hey, gardening, cool. Previously, she has confessed to one guy but got denied. She's crushing on a different guy, but she doesn't even really know him. She ends up crushing on a bunch of guys. None of them matter. She tries to like send a message card and some vegetables to the new guy that she likes. He's just confused. She tries a strategy of giving him his button back. That doesn't work. Makes a cute lunch for him, but it's actually horrific, which I'll be honest, kind of dope. It's a horror themed cute bento box.
Yeah,
that's
like
awesome.
that would work on us. That would work on us.
God, that's
like 10
rad
out of 10
as hell.
times.
Yeah, if you give me a like cute horror themed bento box, oh my god. And so eventually, she also at one point sends a guy to the hospital in an ambulance. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Hey, look,
So
this series has a little bit of dark comedy to it, from time to time.
Yeah. So it's very quick, very silly slice of life style. That's the genre we're going in, right? Eventually, it's like, okay, well, we could use a little bit of magic. There's these mermaid scales that if both people eat the mermaid scales, then they'll bond together. And so Nene immediately swallows one and is like, now's the opportunity, but she misses the opportunity to feed her crush a mermaid scale. And so she just becomes a fish. She becomes a fish. And then as she's chatting with Hanako as she's a fish, she realizes that she didn't really love that guy. She just wants to be loved. She just wants to fall for someone who feels that same way. There we go. And then a giant demon ghost mermaid monstrosity comes to collect Nene, in her fish form, because she is a servant to the mermaid. And that leads all the colors darken, a little bit like horror JoJo-esque, and Hanako has to fight the mermaid with his dark knife, and one slice and it's defeated. Like they set it up as like this huge, terrifying horror shonen confrontation, and then he just slices with the knife and it's defeated. Okay. So you remember how I talked about how he's a beginner, right? He's not that powerful. That's established.
Yeah. He's not great at the wish granting.
He is so good at defeating other much older and borderline ancient apparitions that have been fostering their power and harnessing it for much longer. One whip of the knife, boom, that's it. That's over. And that'll be a repeated theme, which is a weird one. That's a strange one, especially because they want these ghosts to be threatening. They make a big deal of how threatening they are and then get rid of them immediately. That's weird. Because it could just be kind of like a silly offhand joke. It's already, episode 1 has just been slice of life comedy silliness thus far. So it could be like, ooh, big spooky, got him, right? And it could be played for a laugh. It's not played for a laugh. It's just I don't know. It's a strange thing. We'll continue on. So Nene wants to become a human again. She doesn't just want to be a fish. And so Hanako, he eats a scale, and now they share the bond, and now she only becomes fishy when water touches her. And there's weird romantic and sexual tension between her and Hanako, but like not really, but there is, and it's not played very well. I don't know. What's the fuck's going on? This is a strange show.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna take I often do these little recipes, right?
It's been a minute, but yeah.
Little anime recipes. And for this recipe, I'm gonna take 2 different properties, both of which have multiple genres and subgenres within them, and do not have a lot of overlap. You got a bit of Danganronpa, and mix that with like a Sailor Moon? And if that seems like a weird as fuck combination because you are more or less combining 5 or 6 different genres by melding those 2 shows, those 2 properties. Yeah, it's a weird one, and I am wildly confused on what this show wants to be. But overall, okay, we got a little bit of like horror and action, just a tiny bit, but mostly we got slice of life comedy mixed with some romance. So let's go in with the assumption that that's the focus. A little bit more of the Sailor Moon focus stuff with a light action horror sequences. Cool. Episode 2, there's an apparition that steals stuff and you can't look at it, otherwise you'll go missing. All right, cool. And indeed, Nene ends up missing some stuff, investigates, she sees the creature, and then Hanako saves her immediately and very easily. And it turns, the evil creature turns into a bunch of bunnies. And we learn that you can change the rumors and perceptions of these mysterious or urban legend creatures, and that will change their nature. And so they enlist Nene to help doing that. We also meet a guy who is just a high school exorcist. He's just an exorcist, and he wants to take down Hanako. And so they have this battle sequence, and the exorcist kid is like, hey, here's what you don't know, Nene. Hanako, when he was a person, when he was just a normal person, he killed my grandpa or something. I don't know, he killed somebody. And it was brutal and fucked up. And you're like, oh, maybe there's miscommunication. Then Hanako was like, no, yeah, I did it. It was pretty fucked up, but I prayed to the Lord, and the Lord will forgive me. I wish that's how it goes. It's very, and it's like almost it turns a little bit Death Note here, almost, where it's like revealing a dark secret, and it's like, you found me out. This is episode 2, and I don't know, like, we were just like, oh, cute little bunny creatures giving candy. Yeah, I did kill someone, but now I've changed course. And they have a little confrontation or whatever. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this show is anymore.
Really, Rem, I feel like you're just not feeling the spirit of the show. Get it? Because it's about ghosts? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. We got a little bit of Danganronpa over here. We got a bit of Sailor Moon over here. Throw in just any, and your choice of slice of life silliness, right? Just any of those. And then also add a little bit of Death Note. Do you see why I'm confused? Do you see how it's difficult for me to put all these into one container? Do you see how I might struggle? And it's strange because I think, and within episode 3 and 4 arguably have the strongest like cohesion within the episodes themselves out of any. Episode 3 and 4, it's a two-parter, all about the Misaki stairs, where if you step on the 4th step, you disappear into the spirit world, you get spirited away, and oh, mysterious, what's gonna happen? And it's like this fucked up labyrinthine doll world, basically. And Hanako, Nene, and Exorcist Kid, they all team up to save one of their classmates, going in and trying to handle it. And there's a bit of comedy throughout, but it really leans into like the more horror elements, horror adventure elements as they go in, and it's focusing on the mystery of it all. What's going on? How do we fix this? And they need to explore the backstory of the thing so that they can save their friends from this horrific fate that has befallen them. And there's overt horror imagery in these episodes now, and tragic backstory. And I'm like, okay, this episodes 3 and 4 make sense to me, not within the confines of the rest of the show. Like, they make sense in and of themselves, but when you compare them to the previous episodes, they're a completely different thing.
I don't know.
They are.
I feel like it all works.
Does it?
Oh yeah, it's great. I had a fun time watching this show.
It's well, I'm not even saying I'm having a bad time. I'm having a confusing time, Shaun. That's what I know I'm having.
And isn't that just one of life's great wonders?
Here's because I think there's actually like some decent characterization, some decent writing. A lot of the moments are pretty cool. A lot of the big structural stuff is interesting. It's got a lot of great ingredients. I'm just kind of confused at what they've decided to do with those ingredients, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, I've given you some potatoes, some vegetables, and some chicken. Make me a meal, right? All right, pretty standard. I think we all know what we're expecting. And then when you're like, all right, I roasted the asparagus. Cool, awesome. You seasoned it, you plated it, and then you blended the chicken into a puree to put over the asparagus. That's a different way to use that ingredient.
Hey.
And then you're like, and then a whole potato as a garnish. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think you understand what a garnish is. But second of all, I don't know I've kind of lost what you're going for.
Hey, man, you do a cool chef smear on the plate with that pureed chicken and nestle the potato gently within. That right there is proper chefy. That's fine dining, Remington.
It's just such a strange combination of these elements. And here's what I kind of see in episodes 3 and 4, and what I think would have been a more cohesive and stronger unified direction. All right? We'll keep the Sailor Moon. About 25% Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Another 25%, we're going to have Promised Neverland.
Oh, you want them to amp up the darkness.
Yes. But this is only 25%. Where it's underlying kids getting into shit they probably shouldn't, right? And emphasizing those horror elements. And then something that kind of marries Promised Neverland and Sailor Moon in a weird way, and this is going to be the other 50%, Danny Phantom. All right, you and your squad going through and taking care of the apparitions in a semi-episodic way with longer-term things. I also think Hanako should just be the protagonist because, look, she's fine. She's not a protagonist. She is a fine side character. Real weird to have her as the protagonist. It just creates some weird moments that I don't think gel well. It also places way too high of an emphasis on the romance because that is her entire character. I think it should be like, hey, it's primarily a fun story about chasing down apparitions with a touch of romance, and it can occasionally get horrifically fucked. There we go. That I understand. And episode 3 and 4 are kind of like that. But it's basically spin the wheel and see which genre this episode focuses on every single time. And that's a journey that cognitively doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I think that's okay.
Episode 5 focuses on the romance in kind of a weird way. It could be interesting, but I don't think it does it particularly well. So episode 5 is romance. Episode 3 and 4 are horror mystery. Episode 1 is a clusterfuck. And episode 2 also a pretty weird mix but I guess it focuses. No, yeah, episode 1 and 2 are a clusterfuck that are hard to define. They have everything in weird measurements. What's going on?
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty straightforward to me. Makes a lot of sense in my book. You know, you got the little ghost boy coming out of the toilet and a bunch of weird.
So what
yokai
genre
shit,
is
you know?
What genre is this, Shaun?
What genre is this?
Yeah, if you were to describe it to somebody, using one primary genre, but if you need to, some things you have to use two. Just to give a broad idea. What genre would you say this is in?
Supernatural.
That's not a genre, Shaun. Don't you fucking pretend that that's a genre.
It is on Mal.
No, that can be a tag, all right? That can be a quality. That can be something you see in it, but that ain't a genre.
I don't know. Mal, we go to Mal a lot, so I feel like they would know.
Well, they can. Supernatural can be any genre. Give me a genre, you bastard. One that I'm gonna hear, I'm gonna look at everything and be like, yeah, everything falls into that fucking bucket.
God.
I don't think you can do it. I don't even think you can do it with two genres.
I feel like Supernatural kind of nails it. But
Supernatural is not a genre.
I would like.
You can't be like, oh yeah, it's the Supernatural genre. It's like being like, oh yeah, guy named Tim. That genre of all the things with guys named Tim. No, what are you talking about?
God. If you're pressuring me to give you like a more broad genre.
No, what I'm pressuring you to do is give an actual genre. Don't pretend like, oh, well, I guess if you're gonna limit me. No, I've asked a very straightforward question.
Look, I'm just waiting for the emails to tell us that Supernatural is a genre, but that's okay.
Supernatural is not a genre. You're out of your mind.
Okay, then. I would call this a slice of life fantasy.
Okay, slice of life fantasy. So what about all of the more intense horror mystery elements?
Those fall under fantasy.
in a broad sense, but I think that they are far more specific. If you use fantasy as a meaningless catch-all, then I guess I agree. But if it means anything, then I don't agree.
I mean, the show doesn't need to be just one genre, my guy.
I agree, but it's so many. It's all of them.
I think it's fine. I liked my journey through this show.
I think it's messy as hell.
I like the mess, thank you very much. I know exactly where everything is.
I'm not saying you can't like the mess. I'm just saying it keeps altering the headspace in sudden ways that do not have sufficient build or development. And so it is difficult to link up with the story in the way that they want you to. Genres all speak a certain kind of language. They all have certain expectations throughout them, certain emotions that they're trying to evoke or accomplish, goals in which they have. And so at least in the big picture, that helps the communication between the art and the audience. If you have a billion different genres that you rapidly switch between, because some things do just blend them all the way through. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me if you blend them all the way through. This one will suddenly stop one and radically transition to another without letting you know. And so you're just like, oh, okay, I guess it's this now? And so that doesn't cohere as well. You got some jumbled communication. It's okay if you're speaking 8 different languages. It's really weird to switch between all of them suddenly and haphazardly throughout a single chapter.
And you know what I think the problem is, Remington?
What's the problem, Shaun?
I think you're still hung up on you wanting more trans ghosts. I feel like trans people have a right to live, Remington. You don't need to...
I agree! They also have a right to represent themselves in spectral form.
So all in all, Remington, overall, it feels like you've enjoyed the ride. It's a ride that you don't understand what's happening.
I think there's a lot of merit. I heavily disagree with how it's all been put together. I think that there's serious structural flaws, but with quality ingredients. I don't know how I feel about the finished product. I like what it's going for independently. It's like, what's that one, I think it's Friends. I don't know because I've never seen Friends, but it's that Friends episode where they make the lair thing.
My God,
I'm gonna look this up.
You're making a reference to a show you have not seen. And
no, but it feels so appropriate.
Okay, the terrine?
The English trifle.
Oh, the trifle. Yeah, sorry, terrine is a fancy word. Yeah, the trifle. Yeah, Monica's trifle. I recall the episode.
Yes, this...
Because I have unfortunately seen all of Friends.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
This show is the beef trifle. All right, that's what it is. That's what's going on.
God, I love that your comparison point is something that you have no personal experience with.
I don't. Well, no, but it's the object. All right, that's all that we need. And so you can be like, "Damn, that's some good beef. What the hell is it doing here?" So yeah, this show is Monica's beef trifle made with good ingredients. That's what's going on. That's my summary. And yeah, fittingly, it confuses the fuck out of me.
And if you agree with my my genre assignments, then please let me know because I like validation.
Look, Supernatural is not a genre.
Look, I'll even accept people agreeing that it's like pure fantasy or fantasy slice of life. Like that, I'll take. Because I am under the opinion that fantasy is a pretty accurate tag.
But I think what you're using fantasy for is just a general sense of unreality, in which case I would not say that specifically is a genre. I think there's multiple ways that fantasy can be used, and I think the way that you're trying to use it is not in its generic form. I think you're pulling a little bait and switch.
I don't think so. But what I want to know, Rem, is what do you think the mouse score for this show is? Keeping in mind that it was quite a heavily requested show, actually. Like, ever since it came out, we've gotten an email for it, like, at least every couple of days.
Oh, this is gonna be rough. This is gonna be a weird one. Oh, fuck. I'm so unconfident. My calibrate, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I let's tweak a little bit. There we go. This one, I'm like, let's hope we get somewhere in the ballpark. I think it'll be relatively high because a lot of recommendations and because it does have quite a bit of quality to it. But it is a goddamn mess at the same time. I think it'll be a 7.9. But I'll be honest, it is one of the least confident guesses I've had in a long time.
Well, Remington, this show has a very good and respectable, since it's released in 2020, 292,000 ratings.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Overall on Mal, it's in the top 1,000.
Woo!
Which is pretty broad, all things considered. But with that 292,000, it is sitting nice and pretty at 7.83.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, with being within 0.1 with my difficulty of calibrating it, I will take that.
Hey, that's a victory as far as I'm concerned. Genuinely, most of the complaints for this show specifically, there's some people who say that it's animated poorly, which when you're doing everything as stylistically as this, I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah.
Like, most of the things that you complained about, not as fresh on the people's lips, you know?
That is pretty common.
Yeah. Like, there's a handful of people being like, the comedy is not as good as the cool action stuff, which is like, sure, I guess. If that's what you're prioritizing, then yeah. But
is there much cool action stuff? Because it'll be like, here's cool action stuff, and it'll literally just be him swinging his knife like that. That's how every fight is ended.
Yeah, no, like
and
genuinely,
how most of them have begun.
Scrolling through most of these reviews, they're like, this thing is barely animated, and I'm like, yeah, they didn't have the biggest budget for animation, but they made up for it with fucking stylistic design choices. Like,
and I will definitely appreciate like something that is stylized and something a bit different rather than safe and common and plain.
Like, it's like you're not gonna mistake this show for another show.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like, that's a good thing in this case.
But yeah, I feel like it would make sense not only be visually as a game, but I feel like it would also make sense of all these genres kind of being merged together. Because imagine it's a little bit RPG Maker, a little JRPG style, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through with the trio, and you're going fighting off these big apparitions, talking to various people along the way. Different chapters handle different stuff. And it would make sense why it's disjointed just because it would represent like the different mechanics in the game. Yeah, you can romance some people. Yeah, you can do these miscellaneous slice of life tasks. And yeah, the main game is about exploring these mysteries and fighting these creatures. Like it makes so much sense. It makes more sense to me as a game than it does a show.
And yet, I quite like it as a show. And as do a lot of people. Like, Rem, a lot of people, when they sent us emails for this one, they were along the lines of, man, I can't wait for Rem to watch this show because I love it. I think it's great and he'll think it's cute. And if he hates it, I will cry. We did get a couple of those. We did get a couple of people who are like, I'm worried he's going to hate it and I'm going to cry.
I don't hate it. I don't love it either. It has a lot of merit and it is seriously flawed in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Both are true.
But I think with that in mind, I guess the final question I have to ask you, Rem, is, are you interested in watching more? Because after all, it's got a second season too.
Oh, man. I don't know if I'm cognitively prepared.
Well, we can take some time. We don't have to do it immediately. we have freedom in this show. I do a lot of things based on recommendation, but like, you know, we can take our time, you know?
Look, when they come out with the video game adaptation, which I think would both be easy and make so much sense to me, I'll play that.
You'll play the video game version.
I'll be first in line. I'll be right there. For the show, I take it or leave it.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. With that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed Rem just being horrifically confused by colorful, unique things, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where myself, Dylan, and Remington do occasionally play video games very poorly. And at the time of this recording, every Wednesday at about 7:15 MST, myself, Dylan, and Remington are playing a chaotic mess of a Mario Party RPG board game called Dokapon Kingdom, where we get incredibly pissed at each other. If that sounds hilarious, then please.
It truly, well, we're going to see if the podcast can withstand and survive the trials of Dokapon Kingdom. I don't know if we'll make it out of it.
We've only done 2 streams of it, and by the end of both streams, we were ready to kill each other. And yet, we want to play more.
It might be the most salt-inducing game, period.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a genuine contender.
Yeah, like Mario Party, eat your heart out. But that's what we'll be doing on Wednesdays for the foreseeable future. But if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/animatedcontext, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are doing a bunch of spooky stuff. They're throwing us through the 4th step and spiriting us away. And on that list, we have Zombie Stomp, Xanax. Y'all should watch Blue Period. It has a femboy artist. Yandere Neko, why Shaun? Where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Wes Kane, watching Requiem for a Spoon Man at 0.5 speed. Viva la Haruhi Revolution, called Arms, fellow worshippers of Haruhiism. Utah number 1, Unhinged Prax, Tum Yum Cum, Totally God's Angel, Titan CNH. This show is employed to be the mayor of Goontown. This podcast gave new meaning to the title of The Goonies. The Susanator, the Spoon Man will divorce Rem unless he takes back last week's bad opinion. The Spoon Man, nah, that's the Shaun Man. The Pocket Big Hole you need in your pocket. The Flying Spaghetti Monster. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Runo Zoro as my navigator. The Capybara is stressed about life. Turban, Super Zoo, Stacy's mom. Spoon Man Baby can play with Samantha. No, we don't allow that.
No, no, not our daughter.
Spoon Man, Fighter of the Knife Man, Spoon Man wants to go Nico knee deep in Rem's big hole, respectfully.
I don't know if there's any respect in that.
You're just cramming as much as possible in there, truly. True, I do. There's a sense of almost of both horror and admiration in a lot of the patron names that we read, where it's like, first of all, good God, but second of all, you know, you've really just crafted that together. That took a little bit of thought and precision.
My favorite is if they use their Patreon account for anybody other than us.
Shout out to the Shonen Flop boys, who do have to deal with a decent chunk of it makes me laugh anytime I think about it, and that makes it so much better.
Yep.
Snaky Pie, Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Shaun wants to give Spoon Man a thank and yank. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when he made my tummy so big and round it hurt so bad. Please let me see a doctor, I can't take it. Shaun had a last that could go all night, but he got out of breath when he had to blow her up. Shaun can do D's nuts. Serve him the shark plushie. Sugoi Kai, that's what she said. Say hi to that guy's fiance, I think it's Haley. Ross Palmer. Rhiannon Williams. Remington needs to watch Attack on Titan at 0.75 speed to pay for his sins. Remington is right. Rem uses the drums of liberation for y'all weeps from bad anime. Rem hit rock bottom is still on top of Shaun. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Pro tips out of context, the next time someone tells you the government wouldn't do that, oh yes they would, they already have. Professor Fox. Pockwell Musico. Onichi-chi 10 out of 10 family show. No waifu no laifu. 907. Nick. Necrodancer 1415. Mysterious Girlfriend X would be a wild episode. Musical episode guy here with the Spoon Man to say thanks for the second musical episode. Mikasa Tsukasa. Mikeka 7 Hierto. Making fake mal account so I can rate Forest Fairy 5 10 out of 10. Macaroni Uchiha. Listening to the pod, straight up remming it. And buy it. Haha, well, let's just say my Shaun. Linked Joe Girl. Kylo. Don't worry about it. Kylo. King Rich Rock. Cassidy. Jergidius. Jax. Jam Hands. Icon Scout. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond, now I cry. I tried manscaping with a straight edge razor. I can't believe I made an account for this. Hey, what's a Misaka gotta do to get Hot Fudge Sundae up in this joint? Asks Misaka as her stomach growls. Glenn Michael Dolan, Ginger Weeb, Firm the guy who did the thing that one time. Farmer Weeb's double feature of the week, Spoon Man and Bear Trap. See, now that's
a deep reference, a deep one.
That's a collaboration I want to see. Fantide, Erica McCorkle, Dylan Shaun, want to tell you something. I love my favorite editor, Dylan, but Spoon Man has my heart first. Danielle Riot, Daddy Rub, tell me a bedtime story. Countrified Goth has emerged from her depression cocoon and decided to change her name. Cheese Monkey, cat girls are best girls, so give them cute little paws. Brockhart for Geodudes, join the Anime Out of Context Patreon to get your name read aloud by Ad Cut Short. Blank Star, Bert Bartholomew Flem, Bento Kato, a bi girl seeking tickets to Yamfest. Been a while since I've changed my name on here, but I got a third 4.0. Can't believe it. I'm also changing my major from funeral. Batman couldn't fuck that information out of me. Are we all in our cum era? And every day that Raven comes to visit. Amazing Muffin. All hail Pui Pui Philosopher King. AJ Tunnels, Aisha Gucci. Aerith taking back shots from Sephiroth. Adele Girl, a Moe piece of trash. And Dot. Now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier, and Shaun, tell them what they're gonna get.
Ah, man. So this anime features lots of school legends, so I figured the most appropriate thing to give everybody, since, we did yokai previously, is a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah, that adds up.
Hey, look, Pokemon, Pocket Monsters, yokai, legendary. Look, there's a correlation. There's some thought.
Sure. Week 4, asking for a Darling in the Franks review.
Lugia.
Vincent Calabrese.
Kyogre.
That Mouse Girl.
Groudon.
Tails Williams finds Dr. Jones severely injured.
Ho-Oh.
Sporadic Silver.
Rayquaza.
Silent Secondary.
Palkia.
Shaun loved being episode cucked by Rare Kumiko.
Reshiram.
Scourge, best 20 bucks spent, LMAO.
Zekrom.
Roscop.
Kyurem.
Remington Chase's laugh is my favorite sound.
Giratina.
Rare Kumiko.
Xerneas.
Please show Rem the new train anime from this season. Rare Kumiko.
Yveltal.
Nightshade Blade wants to gush over magical girls.
Zygarde.
Netir Abervarin Seashon Malin Van Verdenberg.
Cosmog.
Monogatari is everything you guys said you like in an anime. This week, lots of things happen, and every split second matters.
Solgaleo.
Mike.
Lunala.
Miguel De Leon.
Necrozma.
Latino's 427th anime was at 21 was Hinamatsuri Feed Me, Wait, Don't Hurt Me, Owie! Sean Rollins, 2024.
Zacian.
It's just that spy guy.
Zamazenta.
I don't know about the rest of you, but you definitely watch Psyche K on 1x speed.
Eternatus.
I, Rare Kumiko, will contribute to support the show with multiple accounts.
Calyrex.
Gundam When.
Coraidon.
Go to www.ged.moe. You will love it, says Rare Kumiko.
Miraidon.
Drew asks, to Pui Pui or not to Pui Pui?
Terrapagos.
Decade 1 of all father-making Patreon accounts until Shaun shows Remington Dragon Pilot.
Articuno.
Crosskirk.
Zapdos.
Crimson Reapers just because of the sides.
Moltres.
Carver 271.
Raikou.
Blood Cell, here to remind you that the white blood cells are inferior. You need the red ones to thank and yank anyways.
Entei.
Beethoven 1201.
Suicune.
Anonymous.
Regirock.
Anime mashup of the week is this a zombie girl's graffiti.
Tapu Lele.
Animated Z.
Tapu Koko.
And then I saw her face, and now I'm a believer, and not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love. I'm a believer. I couldn't leave her.
For that, you get Landorus.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun as Joey Wheeler will make a wish on your behalf, and I will tell you the price you need to pay.
Okay.
We start with, the best lube is human saliva.
Oh.
What's their wish?
Their wish is a lovely evening with Remington.
And the price is you first have to endure a one-on-one Coliseum fight to the death with my lovely girlfriend. But hey, if you pay the price, there you go.
Oh god, and she's vicious.
She is vicious. Next up we got Rowdy-O.
Their wish is for their favorite manga to get a perfect anime adaptation.
And the price for that is going to be 2 arcade tokens from a now defunct arcade or location that you found either in a jacket pocket or like in the couch cushions, right? And you're like, oh, and it brings back some memories, and then you think, oh, can I use this? But then you look it up and the place is closed.
Yeah, fun fact, if you use those you can probably use those in like any machine. Those old school tokens.
Next up we got Earwolf Mindshets, then can't ear haben.
Your grand wish is... That's too dark. Your grand wish is for a lovely meal at that one restaurant you've always wanted to go to, but it's just always been either a little out of price or a little out of the way.
And the price you gotta pay is the Spoon Man brought dead or alive. Next up we got my dear old mum.
Your dearest wish is for your son to have health insurance.
And the price, unfortunately, it's an arm and a leg. Last but not least, we got Blue Baron 15.
We call that the Full Metal Alchemist special. Your greatest wish is, world peace.
And it's going to cost everything in your closet at this very moment.
That's pretty cheap.
Why? You don't know what's in their closet.
Fair point.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out, whether for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do, 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 do.